Here's what I'll do. I'll sleep when the baby sleeps. Then I'll do the dishes when the baby does the dishes. I will tell you this. Just recently, my wife and I became parents for the first time in our lives, which is... thank you. It's very exciting. When it's your first kid, you learn a lot. One of the things I learned is whoever invented the phrase, slept like a baby, they didn't have a baby. I don't think they'd ever even seen a baby. I think that phrase should be slept like an adult that doesn't have a baby. Because those were some good sleeping years. Everyone has their advice on how to get through those early sleep deprivation months, and the advice is always the same. Sleep when the baby sleeps. You just sleep when the baby sleeps. Oh, thank you. I hadn't considered that before. Here's what I'll do. I'll sleep when the baby sleeps. Then I'll do the dishes when the baby does the dishes. And when he notices the bills are piling up, me and the baby, we do some bills together. Because that's how babies work. They love knocking chores off the to-do list. Next. They say that being a new parent starts to age you much faster than normal. I feel like I've started to notice it when I look in the mirror, but I don't think other people notice yet. I'm 22 years old. I look good for 22, right? Most of my comedian friends do not have kids, and I've realized it's very difficult to explain to someone what it's like to be tired for several months in a row. It's a very specific feeling. The best analogy I've come up with is I was watching this documentary once about the Navy SEALs. And at the end of their training, they go through this thing called Hell Week, where they're woken up at all hours of the night. They're wet for some reason, they don't know why. Someone's screaming at them to do something, and if they mess it up, the screaming gets louder and louder until they get it right. And if you've ever had a new baby, you know, that's pretty close. Except it's only a week. Boo-hoo, Navy SEALs. Oh, were you tired for a week? I'm sure that was so difficult. I think instead of SEAL Team 6, they should have sent 2 choppers of new dads in to get bin Laden. They would have killed him just because he woke the baby up. When it's your first kid, you don't know what to expect. I feel like I had a little bit of an advantage. Before I was a comedian, I was a school teacher. I was around kids. I learned some things. One of the things I learned is kids listen to everything their parents say. Whether it's brilliant or stupid, they hear all of it. And then they go to school and they repeat it. So anytime you hear the phrase, "my dad says," buckle up. You are about to hear something ignorant or foolish or racist. Sometimes you get lucky, hit the trifecta, get all 3 of those wrapped up in a big perfect storm of stupid. You're always getting one, though. Mr. Deyo, my dad says that I could be president one day. I doubt it. You just ate a crayon. Not part of a crayon, you ate all of it. You didn't even stop when you knew it tasted bad. That is not what our future president is doing today. Maybe it is. I guess at this point, who knows, right? Having a kid, though, it's the biggest decision you're ever going to make in your life. You have to be 100% sure that it's something you want to do. My wife and I, we were 100% sure. Actually, My wife was like 99% sure she wanted a baby, and I was 1% sure I wanted one. I checked her math. She was right. It was time. I was wrong about how much I'd like having a kid, though. He is the light of my life, just so cute and adorable. Looks nothing like me. And people notice. Every once in a while, I'll get that "he has your smile" consolation prize. But I know they're just grasping. You know, all baby smiles look alike. When someone says "he has your smile," I know that's a polite person trying to say, "I don't think that's your kid." You might be right. Took a scuba diving class recently. That was fun. We were in class one day. The teacher was telling us that if you're ever out diving and it gets cold, you can just pee on yourself. And it'll warm you up. And I thought that was kind of disgusting. But then we were out one day. Started getting chilly. And I did it. The good news, it worked. The bad news, I was golfing. That's not how you warm up golfing. That's how you get kicked out of putt-putt. When I have a day off traveling on the road, I like hanging out in those big bookstores. Whenever I go in there, I always run across that series of books called For Dummies. And they have them for everything now. Gardening for dummies, interior design for dummies. I saw a new one. I'm not making this up. Athletic scholarships for dummies. I didn't know they came any other way. And now you know what jealousy sounds like. I'm just jealous. I love sports. I was always too small as a kid to be any good at any of them. I was a tiny little kid. I grew up with 3 brothers. I was the smallest of all of us. I had to wear hand-me-downs from all 3 of my brothers. That was humiliating because I was the eldest. I was in high school wearing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Trying to get a date to the prom in an Elmo onesie. Unsuccessful. I hated being small. My parents wouldn't let me play football because of it. They thought I was too small. They were afraid I would get hurt. So instead, they made me join the marching band. Yeah. Apparently, they thought emotional scars were somehow preferable to the ones you could see. I wanted to be on the football team. I thought the uniform was cool. You know, the helmet, the pads. You put them on, even in middle school, you look like a man. My marching band uniform had a helmet, but there was a giant feather on top of it. I did not look like a man. When I started band, I was a trombone player. Yeah, I decided that was too nerdy of an instrument for me. I wanted to play an instrument that would impress girls. I found out that instrument is called "Don't Be in the Band." No one told me that, though. So I decided to play the drums. Certainly, they would be cool. The drums are cool if you play in a rock band. If you were playing bass drum in a Mary Poppins halftime show, at some point, you're going to see the inside of a locker. That's just the way it works. Those are the rules. I've been a band nerd my whole life, though. I was in high school marching band. I was in college marching band. I told you guys I was a teacher. I was actually a band director. And believe it or not, I still make part of my living writing marching band shows in the summer. Not the music, but how they move around on the football field. Like when the S becomes a straight line. That doesn't just happen. This genius brain makes that magic happen. And I usually don't tell people I do that. It's kind of embarrassing, you know. marching band choreographer. It's not the manliest sounding job. They're not going to have a reality show about it on Discovery Channel anytime soon. Start running those promos one night. Tonight on Ice Road Truckers, a rig goes off the cliff. On Deadliest Catch, man overboard. And on band show designer, Tony can't figure out what to do with the flutes. So when I went to college, I was a music major, and they say that college is supposed to prepare you for the real world. It's supposed to be a stepping stone to the real world. I feel like there's nothing more unlike the real world than college. I think second grade is more like the real world. Because think about it. In college, you can nap anytime you want, do the bare minimum of work, and your parents will still tell you they're proud of you. Not in second grade. Nap time's over after kindergarten. If you get a note sent home from your teacher, you're grounded. Here's why. In second grade, your parents still think that you have potential. You can still make something in your life. By the time you're in your third senior year of college, they're numb to your failures. You can't hurt them anymore. In college, you can study whatever you want, no matter how useless it is. Not in second grade. Definitely not in the real world. Hey, real world. Today I was thinking I would study mid-century European art. And the real world's like, oh yeah, that does sound awesome, but I got some other plans for you today. Today, you're going to learn why renter's insurance was a good idea yesterday. There's some things I miss about college. I miss being broke. That sounds weird, right? But when you're broke in college, it just means you have $0. When you're broke in the real world, you have $0, probably some credit card debt, maybe a car loan, maybe a mortgage. When you're broke in the real world, you have less than $0. Thousands and thousands less. I wish I had $0. If I had $0 right now, I'd be living the good life. I'd be like, pop the champagne, baby. We just made the last payment on the car, and we are officially back to zero. I don't even aspire to be a millionaire anymore. I just want to be a zero-naire. That's it. You wouldn't know it from looking at me. I actually went to college on an Army scholarship. I don't know why the Army was interested in me. Apparently, they thought nothing would frighten the enemy quite like a full-grown man wearing camouflage, size extra small. I had to ask him, I'm like, does this uniform come in like a child's medium? Maybe a lady's petite wouldn't be so baggy back here. It's a little baggy. Maybe they thought I would confuse the enemy. You know, the enemy would be like, what's that coming over the hill? Is that an American Girl doll? What is that? Whatever it is, it's adorable. That's what I know. So cute with his little rifle. For whatever reason, though, the Army gave me a scholarship, and after my freshman year, they sent me to Airborne School to go learn how to jump out of airplanes with a parachute on. Airborne School is 3 weeks long. They use the first 2 weeks, called ground school. They use this time to tell you it's not that crazy to jump out of an airplane. And the third week is jump week. This is when you find out they lie to you. Because it's insane. I don't know why it took me until the third week to realize how crazy it was, though. because there were some signs along the way. Yeah. We were there just a couple of days. We were out for our morning jog, and the sergeant was singing one of those cadences they sing that keeps everyone in step when you're out running. He was like, "If my chute don't open wide, I got another one by my side." Nobody mentioned that that was a possibility. Certainly this tale has a happy ending. If that one should fail me too, look out, ground, I'm coming through. Coming through? I don't know what magical land of Narnia he thinks we exist in. But if my parachute fails, I'm not going through the ground. That's not how the ground works. I am going to bounce very hard and land in a puddle of what used to be me. It's disgusting. I don't think we should be singing a cute little tune about it. At Airborne School, I learned that there's a lot of words they use in the military that do not mean the same thing in the real world. For example, the word volunteer. They have no idea what that word means. The way they used to use it, they'd say, "Tony, tomorrow morning, you're volunteering for extra duty." Oh, good. That's what I was hoping I would volunteer for. Worst part about my little college Army experience, they used to send us out in the woods on the weekends, and the food was horrible. They would give us these little packages called MREs, which stands for Meals Ready to Eat. I'm pretty sure meals should have been in quotation marks. But they try to fool you. They put really delicious names on there. Beef teriyaki, chicken with pesto pasta, omelet with ham. I love real omelets. Their omelets tasted exactly like their pesto pasta, which tasted exactly like their beef teriyaki, which tasted exactly like a donkey's behind. And I used to wonder, why would they put such delicious names on this horrible stuff and give it to our soldiers? But I figured it out, and it's brilliant. Once you eat one, you just want to kill somebody. You're like, "Oh man, how dare you call this steak and potatoes? Where's my rifle? Where is my rifle?" Someone has to die right now. I did not end up spending any time in the military after college, but I appreciate everything those guys do for us. And recently, I got a chance to go to Korea and perform for our soldiers that are stationed there. That was an awesome adventure that I did not prepare well for, because it's Korea. And the only effort I made to learn any of the Korean language was I downloaded a translator for my iPhone as we were boarding the plane to go. Now, there were two versions of the translator. One cost $30, and one was free. Obviously, I got the free one, and I knew there'd be a limited number of words, but I thought they'd be limited to the really important words, the words I would need to save me in an emergency. It's the exact opposite of what they did. Give me 100 words I was never going to use, like winter. And pants. And lovely. I don't need those words. I need to know how to say bathroom, and it wasn't in there. But I had a 14-hour flight, went ahead and learned the words they gave me, and I'm glad I did. Because now, in fluent Korean, I can say this. On a lovely winter day in Busan, I peed my pants. Because I couldn't find the bathroom. Thank you, free translator. So, buddy mine just ran a half marathon, put that little sticker on his car, that little white oval, says 13.1. I told him that sticker lets everyone know he ran half the distance that actually impresses people. When he was finished, I gave him half a thumbs up. All 50% of that is yours, my man. Congratulations, divided by 2. I thought I was going to run a marathon once in my life. It was on my bucket list. And then I realized I won't even drive 26 miles. Like, if you want me to do something and it's 26 miles away, I'm probably not going to go. And I'm not traveling there on foot. That's not happening. If you do want to feel good about yourself, though, sign up for a turkey trot. Do you know what these are? It's like a 2-mile charity run. They do it on Thanksgiving morning. People that sign up for this, they've never run in their life. But they decide, you know what? It's Thanksgiving. I'm about to consume the calories of an Olympic athlete. Why not spend the morning throwing up in the bushes? That's how I'm going to give back. I'm trying to get healthier, though, as I get older. I'm trying to do it without exercising, because that's not any fun at all. It's terrible. So my first idea was I became a vegetarian. And when I became a vegetarian, I realized there's a whole bunch of different levels. There's some very serious vegetarians. They won't even use a utensil if it has ever touched meat. That seems like a very difficult way to live. I'm more laid back about it. Like if I go to a restaurant and I order a salad, no bacon bits, and the waiter forgets, brings me a hamburger. Seems bad to be wasteful, right? I'm a waste not, want not vegetarian. So I live in New York City now. In New York City, they have an alert system where the city will text you if something's going on they think you need to know about. They use it for Amber Alerts. They also use it for something they call Silver Alerts. And a Silver Alert goes out when an old person has wandered away from their home, didn't tell anybody where they're going. Now, this is a very important service. My problem with the Silver Alert is that the details are always this vague description of every old man you have ever seen in your life. You'll get one and be like, hey, everyone, be on the lookout for a late 70s male. He has gray hair, wearing brown, rather comfortable-looking shoes. Answers to the name Grandpa. All right. I'll keep my eyes peeled for those 400,000 gentlemen. Got called into jury duty recently. A lot of people dread jury duty. I was looking forward to it. Because I live in Queens, New York, and Queens is a melting pot of the highest order. They think that there are 800 languages spoken in Queens, New York. And when you get a bunch of people from that many different backgrounds all in one place, trying to lie their way out of doing jury duty, it's fantastic. It's like this big multicultural festival of dishonesty. And I love listening to the excuses people give to try to get out of serving jury duty. My favorite one, this guy told the judge, he goes, I shouldn't have to serve on the jury because I don't speak English very well. Sir, the fact that you ended that sentence with well instead of good already puts you in the 98th percentile in this country. In fact, we got an honorary college degree for you right now. Bring it on in here. This guy's summa cum laude. I did not grow up in New York City, though. I grew up in a very tiny town, and in this town we grew up in, we didn't have a good library. So when we were kids, my parents bought me and my brothers a set of encyclopedias. And they were very expensive. My parents paid for them on an installment plan, and they got delivered on an installment plan. One a month in alphabetical order, which was fine until I got assigned a school report on Halley's Comet the third week of school. We only had A. H wasn't coming until June. I had to figure something out, and I think I did a pretty good job. My report started like this. I said, Halley's Comet was seen by a lot of aardvarks. Speaking of the aardvark, so I had to take my computer into the help desk at the Apple Store, but at the Apple Store they don't call it the help desk. They call it the Genius Bar. It's kind of pompous, right? Genius Bar. It's like, yeah, you know more about computers than I do, but let's be honest, you work at the mall 2 doors down from Cinnabon. That's not where geniuses make the magic happen. Stephen Hawking is a genius. He's not splitting his rent with Banana Republic. So on Facebook the other day, I noticed that little box on the side. It said, Tony, 14 of your friends are fans of Miley Cyrus. Incorrect, Facebook. 14 people that used to be my friends. I'm on an unfriending tear, just trying to come up with reasons to unfriend people. My favorite reason for unfriending people is when they send me a quiz. We all get those. It's like, hey, what Simpsons character are you? I'm not. Unfriend. Who's your favorite Kardashian? If I knew more than one, I'd jump off a bridge. Best one I ever got, though, someone actually sent this to me. What perfume are you? Yeah. Here's what I did to that person. I unfriended them. Then I sent them a friend request. And when they accepted it, I unfriended them again. You have to teach those people a lesson. I was in a hotel recently. They had one of those memory foam mattresses. You know, the ones you sink into it, it remembers your shape. Very comfortable mattress. I do not recommend it if you already have self-esteem issues about your body. Because the last thing you want to see first thing in the morning is that giant crater you left in the memory foam. It's no way to start the day. It's not any better on skinny people. I wake up, looks like a Halloween decoration was laying there. I'm like, oh man, I can see my rib cage. That's not healthy. I should start doing push-ups. So I have a theory. That every generation of men looks at the previous generation and thinks those guys were real men. Like my grandfather's generation, World War II vets, they fought the Nazis. They were real men. And my father's generation, all those guys that could take apart a car, put it back together again, they were real men. If I put wiper fluid in my car, I cross my fingers the next time I start it. I'm like, I don't know, that might have been where the oil goes. I'm not sure. I'm not Jiffy Lube. The inverse is also true. Our grandfathers looked at our fathers, thought they needed to toughen up, be a man. If my grandfather was still alive, who knows what he'd think about me? He'd probably think I was about 80% female. Because I don't do any man things. You know, a real man makes his living with his hands. I make my living writing down dumb things I thought of and telling you guys. I mean, technically, I use my hand to pick up a pen, write those things down. But if I get a blister, I put that pen down. Work is done for the day. I do feel like we are evolving to be less manly. One of my wife's coworkers recently tore his ACL. He's a young kid, early 20s. I asked her how he did it. I was assuming he was playing rugby or pickup football, something you do if you're a strapping young 20-year-old. None of those things. He tore his ACL at an indoor trampoline park. That's not the story I'd be telling people. That story impresses neither men nor women. You might as well tell people you were chasing a butterfly and tripped on a tulip. I have this advice for you. If you're not married yet, do not get married at a recognizable landmark. Don't do it. My wife and I, we got married at a lighthouse, which we thought would be romantic, and it was. But then we started opening our wedding presents and realized everyone decided to be super original. Get us a present with a lighthouse on it. So now I have a blanket with a lighthouse, and I have a clock with a lighthouse on it, and I have a lamp that looks like a lighthouse, and you turn it on, and a little light goes around and around and around. Useless. When am I ever going to need that? Maybe if I have a plumbing emergency, have to swim to safety across my living room. Swim to the light, Tony, swim to the light. At my little brother's wedding reception, a lady read a poem at his reception. This poem was called Recipe for a Happy Marriage. And this recipe included such ingredients as 3 cups of love, 2 cups of kindness, 5 spoonfuls of hope. That is very cute, but I have been married a while, and that recipe is missing some ingredients. I myself have already used a giant bucket of an ingredient called, you have got to be kidding me. I'm going to tell you this quick story before I get out of here. A few years ago, I got a chance to do my first late-night television appearance on Conan. And for me, oh, thank you. Thank you. For me, it was a dream come true. Ever since I was a kid watching comedians on The Tonight Show, all I wanted to do in life was be a stand-up comic and tell jokes on late-night TV. Conan gave me my chance. The show went great. They took my segment. They put it on YouTube, and I was really proud of what I'd accomplished. Until I started reading YouTube comments. I didn't realize that there are people that write awful things about YouTube videos as a hobby. They're like, oh, I got 15 minutes to kill. Let me go pee on someone's dreams. I didn't know that. I wasn't warned. They wrote things like, this guy is terrible. I didn't laugh once. One guy, all he wrote was, boo, pansy. He only used 2 words and somehow managed to insult me twice. That's 2 separate insults. Masterful use of the English language. I read all the comments out. It ruined 3.5 days of my life. Yeah, I couldn't get over it. What finally sort of pulled me out of my depression is I realized some of these morons that write these awful things, their YouTube screen name is either their exact name or something very easy to figure out. Like one dummy. His YouTube screen name was J. DeBaron Violin. All right, I'm gonna take a wild guess. I bet the J is his first initial. I bet DeBaron is his last name. And I bet playing the violin is something he likes to do. Let me just crank up the Google machine, take a look-see. Well, what do you know? His name is Jonathan DeBaron. He is indeed a violin player. And he has posted some of his own videos on YouTube. Oh, Jonathan. Now, here's what Jonathan knows about me. I'm a comedian. Here's what he does not know. I am shallow, petty, vindictive, and because I don't have to spend 6 hours a day practicing the violin, I got a lot of time on my hands. I created 34 separate YouTube accounts. Yep. just to crush his little violin playing fantasy, and man, did it feel good. In fact, it felt so good, I recommend all you go home tonight, find his YouTube page and give it a whirl. And just in case you're wondering, no, I did not change his name to protect his identity. DeBaron is spelled D-E-B-A-R-O-N. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much.